These jobs are going to be permanent jobs. These are the jobs of the future. These are the green jobs.
Hire 1,000 workers to manufacture solar panels.
So that we can all make our country energy independent, but we can also create clean energy jobs.
Creating clean energy jobs that can't be outsourced.
38 clean energy projects that are expected to employ more than 60,000 Americans.
To create more of these clean energy jobs, we need more production, more efficiency, more incentives.
And now those clean energy loans weren't meant to create jobs? Look at this.
The predominance of our portfolio and the objective really of the Act is to be creating large infrastructure utility scale projects. And by definition, they are not a multiplier for job creation.
So they're pretty. Wait a minute. That's the head of the Department of Energy's Clean Energy Loan Program at a hearing on Capitol Hill.
Website, they talk about jobs being created, and they said that Abound Solar would create or save 1,200 jobs. So many would be created or saved by Solyndra and also by Beacon. And since all of them have not turned out as planned, it looks like a total in this 1705 project has been like 1,174 permanent jobs have been created. A total of loans have been made of $16 billion, which comes to $13,738,075 for every created job. Do you feel like that is a good return for the American taxpayer?
Mr. Chairman, Nick Loris, not surprised by what he had to say. What he's saying essentially, Nick, is that stuff we kind of trumpeted this with, that it's jobs, permanent jobs. That's not what we were after. Obviously, it's a reflection of what you didn't get.
Yeah, that's right. And when there have been so many failures, Solyndra, Abound Solar, Beacon, Nevada Geothermal, they're going to have to try and switch their message, but it really gets to the heart of the problem, and that is if these projects were economically competitive, they wouldn't need special treatment from the government in the first place. But at the same time, they have nowhere else to go. They tried to label this as a global warming solution. Now they tried to label it as a green stimulus, and they're failing on all accounts.
But they're still spending it. So, obviously there's money in the till to keep wasting, and they keep pushing it. Now
talking about with this green jobs disaster, TerraGen bill is part of this big consortium that got billions of dollars from the federal government, about $2.4 billion in all these government subsidies and supports. TerraGen has created from $468 million in grants, 50 permanent jobs. That's $9 million per job.
Right.
All right, you're looking live at the president. He is speaking in Boulder City, Nevada. The president is kicking off his energy policy tour over at Copper Mountain Solar One, but not without a little bit of controversy. You see, this plant received roughly $50 million in tax credits, and it currently employs all of 10 people full-time. Republican Congress.
During certain parts of the year, west, you got a lot of snowmelt sending tons of water down the rivers through the lots of dams on the Columbia River and what have you. At the very same time, the wind is howling in the Columbia River Gorge, so the wind farms are cranking out maximum energy. As it turns out, too much energy for the demand. So last year, the federal agency that manages the power grid shut down the windmills for 38 days. Now, to compensate the wind power generators for their losses, the Bonneville Power Administration is saying that they will pay them up to $50 million a year, a fee that will eventually be paid by ratepayers.
And a new report shows that Minnesota residents ended up paying $70 million for natural wind energy that they didn't even use. The state's wind farms subsidized by green energy mandates. The problem? Well, there wasn't much of a demand, mostly because other forms of energy were cheaper.